All right, y'all. So Jon Stewart went to this New Yorker event, and he did this interesting Q&A, and a bunch of moments here are, taken off. Or if they haven't yet, they should, because there's a bunch of interesting stuff he says here. So as you all know, I've been a very vocal supporter of Jon Stewart for 2028. I want him to run, and the reason I want him to run is that he would be the Democrat version of Trump. Namely, I'll be funny, I'll say what I fucking want, I'll create outrage on the right, people can't take their attention off of me. He can sort of mirror that on the left. And also, I think his politics are genuinely good. Like, I think he actually cares about making this country better. He believes in, like, the Bernie Sanders philosophy and ideology. So I still think he's a great choice for president, and I hope he runs. Now, having said that, man, he had some misses in this interview, if I'm being honest with you. So let's start with this one here. He does this whole, it's a stale talking point of this, anti-cancel culture type mindset. Let's listen to what he says.
I've got people in my family that are to the right of Attila the Hun. And when people tell me, how can you platform that person on your show? I go, I platform my uncle every fucking Thanksgiving. And by the way, I love him. He's a three-dimensional human being who has qualities that I really admire. Things about him. And we've lost that. We've lost the ability to love people because we litmus test at every point, in every single moment.
Here's the problem with that, John. We've loved them. We've done the when they go low, we go high thing. So we have upheld our end of that bargain. And then they never reciprocated, ever, 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 ever. So at some point, you got to have some fucking self-respect. At some point, your takeaway has to be the opposite of this, which is, maybe our problem is we're fucking pushovers and they walk all over us, and maybe we should do a little more litmus testing, not less litmus testing. Maybe if somebody's at the Thanksgiving dinner table and they actually think, I fucking love Hitler, you say, you can get out. I fucking love Netanyahu and him bombing schools and hospitals. Okay, you can leave, right? So, look, it's one thing. I love this idea of everybody thinks there's some saint or, some brilliant genius because I tolerate people who disagree with me politically. It's like, yeah, we all do that because we fucking have to do that. But let's not make a virtue out of hey, I got a piece of shit racist uncle who says piece of shit racist things all the time, and somehow it's virtuous that I fucking sit here and let him babble. There's nothing fucking virtuous about that. We gotta grow up. We gotta man up, and we gotta realize, as much as we want to do when they go low, we go high, and we'll give them endless love, they never fucking reciprocated. And so at a point, it's like, okay, if these are the rules now, if the rules are you get to say whatever unhinged, racist, warmongering fucking bullshit that you want, then we get to say the most unhinged, anti-war, anti-racist shit we want to say, and we now no longer give a fuck about your feelings. The whole right-wing thing of fuck your feelings, liberal fucking, look, liberal tears in my mug, bro. So, okay, well, here's some fucking conservative tears for your ass. So I actually totally disagree with this. It seems like a rant out of 2018. It does. It seems like Jon Stewart's a little bit caught in the past, and this is that enlightened centrist instinct which is steering him in the wrong direction. And what he doesn't realize is, John, we have actual demons running this country. And we have the 37% that still support Trump and what he's doing. They're fucking demons too. The 37% that can look at Trump throw a Roaring Twenties Great Gatsby billionaire party at Mar-a-Lago at the same time he illegally froze food stamp funds so 40 million Americans are starving. That's demonic, John. That's evil, John. And people who are cheering that on and supporting it, they're bad. They're wrong. I don't have, let me give you sympathy for your fucking objectively atrocious beliefs. Fuck that. Fuck your repulsive, wretched ass beliefs. Somebody needs to check your fucking ass. Somebody needs to check your ass and say, are you gonna fucking grow up and grow a conscience or not? We gotta stop coddling these people who have no fucking conscience or totally broken moral meters. It's just astonishing to me that everybody hasn't grown to this position. It seems so strikingly obvious. We're doing them no favors. By tolerating their intolerance, we're doing them no favors. And we're doing us no favors. I'm tolerant of anything and everything except intolerance. And that's what we need to grow to, right? So this I'm holier than thou because I have an asshole family member at Thanksgiving. Yeah, we fucking all do. We all do. And you know what? Your instinct of going, I don't want to be around Uncle Ted that much. You're not wrong. You're correct to feel that way. And it's okay to admit that. It's okay to acknowledge that. But I'm not done because now he talks about Rogan. Listen to what he says here. This one I think is even more controversial.
John, you've been on Rogan a couple of times?
Yes.
What did you think of that experience, being on Joe Rogan?
I enjoyed being on Rogan. I think he's an interesting interviewer. There are right-wing weaponized commentators whose sole purpose is to manipulate things to the benefit of the Bannon Project or the Project 2025. Rogan's not that guy.
What is that guy?
He wasn't that guy. Now he is that guy, John. If Jon Stewart is saying Rogan came to MAGA politics in an organic way, I think that's true. I think he radicalized himself by surrounding himself with very right-wing people. He radicalized himself during COVID. He radicalized himself because he's very conspiracy-minded. Like, yes, he organically came to those positions. But just because he didn't start out as a fucking pom-poms guy, a right-wing cheerleader like Sean Hannity, for example, doesn't mean that the impact he has on this country isn't just as bad, if not worse, because Rogan's audience is younger. And young people sort of believe him and listen to him more than Hannity's, doing his show out of a retirement community, out of a senior living center, right? So yes, he organically came to these MAGA positions, but he still has these MAGA positions, and he's fucking wrong. And I'm going to get to the more important point in a second, because this is just child's play in terms of criticism to my big issue with Rogan, but let's keep going.
Rogan's not that guy.
What is that guy? How would you describe
that guy
him?
Is a curious comic who fell into this thing that got fucking enormous, maybe doesn't... has opinions all over the political spectrum, but has tendencies that people on the left does not fit the aesthetic. He's a hunter.
In fairness, he's had people on who are kind of Nazi curious.
Yeah, and John, he was in the Bernie to Trump pipeline. I mean, there's not many who were on that pipeline. Like, there's more of a centrist to fascist pipeline than there is a left-wing to fascist pipeline, but he was in the Bernie to fascist pipeline. We do ourselves no favors by pretending like he's still just this enlightened centrist. He's not anymore, John. He's not. He endorsed Trump. He was at the fucking inauguration. He hitched his wagon to MAGA. He texts with J.D. Vance and Donald Trump and Elon Musk and Dana White all the fucking time. That's who this guy is now. Don't sane wash him. Don't pretend like he's not that. Don't pretend like he's still 2017 Joe Rogan. He's not 2017 Joe Rogan anymore. And now the interviewer made a great point.
He's a hunter.
In fairness, he's had people on who are kind of Nazi curious. That's not good.
I've interviewed Kissinger. And he was carpet bomb curious. I don't know what to say.
I do. I'm sure when you had on Kissinger, I'm sure when you had on other right-wing ghouls, you treated them as right-wing ghouls and you fucking grilled them. That is not what Joe Rogan did. Joe Rogan gave Trump a hot stone massage. Joe Rogan gave J.D. Vance a hot stone massage. Joe Rogan gave Peter Thiel a hot stone massage. Joe Rogan gave Mark Andreessen a hot stone massage. Joe Rogan gave Elon Musk a hot stone massage. Do you not see the difference? That you actually tried to grill these people and Rogan does not?
It's very easy to castigate those where we're like, but he had an opinion a few years back that's, corrosive.
But the difference is when he was carpet bomb curious, you didn't say, oh yeah, that's awesome. And what happens with Rogan sometimes is he'll hear somebody that's on the dangerous end of the spectrum and he'll just kind of soak it in.
And I think this is a great point. And it's whoever job who thinks that information is dangerous to fight to get their point of view out there to counter what they think is misinformation. You can't just deputize people to say he should have known better and he should have prosecuted that point.
He, at the time, was the number 1 podcast in the world. Are you saying he has no responsibility to know what the fuck he's talking about? So he just had on Elon Musk and he was, giving him a handy under the table. And you're telling me that's acceptable and that's okay, even after we know Elon Musk illegally cut pediatric cancer research, illegally cut the National Weather Service, illegally cut Meals on Wheels, destroyed the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, fired nuclear safety officials, destroyed FEMA, cut the Department of Education, fired 83,000 veterans, fired 250,000 public workers overall, did the USAID cuts, which are literally going to lead to millions of deaths. You're telling me even after all that, it is not incumbent on Rogan to fucking ask him about those things? No. If you're going to get involved in political media, you have to know a fucking thing or two about politics. You can't do this thing where it's like, there's none of the responsibility that a mainstream media reporter would have. You can't give podcast people a pass because they're podcast people. No, if they want to say they're better than mainstream media, as they often do, you have to know what the fuck you're talking about and grill people. I mean, he had Trump on and said, oh, I'm going to let you speak to tell us your side of the 2020 election and how it was rigged because people normally don't give you the space to talk on this. So Rogan was trying to make a virtue out of letting Trump lie to his audience. This is a big miss from Jon Stewart.
He should have known better and he should have prosecuted that point.
But the reality is, John, is that it might be my job or the New York Times job or even your job, but I don't have the audience that Joe Rogan does.
Then get it.
Yeah,
then
well,
find
get
people
it.
who do, then go on that show. Then do those things. Like,
see, this is where he fucked up. I did that, John. Here's the problem. I would say to Rogan all the right things, all the factually correct things, all the left-wing things. He would nod in agreement. And then a week or two later, he has on fucking Ben Shapiro or Steven Crowder or some right-wing politician or whoever the fuck. They say the opposite, and he also nods along in agreement. So there is no actual core of Rogan on these things. You can have somebody who says the right things and is correct, and he agrees, and then he disagrees casually the next time around. So maybe he's full of shit. And maybe the actual end result of his politics being what they are is eventually he went full down that right-wing pipeline, and now he's just a cheerleader for MAGA. And every now and then he tries to tiptoe out of the room when the heat gets a little too strong, and he realizes this is really unpopular and people fucking hate him, and, ICE people are rounding up innocent people and sending them to concentration camps, and he goes, maybe we shouldn't destroy due process completely. But he says that, and he'll never call out Trump by name, and he'll go right back to sucking Trump off on the next episode. So, no, it's on him. He has a responsibility to his audience and a responsibility to the truth, and you're giving him a fucking pass just because you like the guy.
It's not acceptable to just say, well, I don't like what he does. Then do it better, beat them at their own game. It's not enough to just complain that guy got a platform, and don't platform that guy.
This is why he's so full of shit, because he never would say this about Fox News. About Fox News, he would say, it's like a lie factory, it's a propaganda factory, and they have a malicious intent, and they're trying to make this country super right-wing and fascist, and they're relentlessly committed and dedicated to that idea. And so he wouldn't give them that kind of a pass, assuming they're good faith actors. This is his problem. He's assuming Rogan is still a good faith actor. No, now he's just a fucking MAGA hack. That's the reality. And I get the sense from watching this, he doesn't really follow. He doesn't really follow Rogan that closely, is what I get from watching this. Because if he saw what I've seen and what you've seen, I don't think he'd be going this soft on him, even though he knows him.
There's no one in this world right now that isn't platformed. And my biggest frustration, honestly, with a lot of scientists is they all go, RFK, oh, he's so fucked up. That's terrible information. Oh, okay. What's the information? Nothing. Where are they? Get out there. Fight.
I mean, it's just bullshit, though, because there are plenty of people out there. It's not that hard to debunk. Fucking RFK, really? Are we going to have a conversation about RFK? It's not that hard to combat his bullshit, but he has the bigger megaphone. He's the head of Health and Human Services. So what is this response? Like, are you yelling at and berating people who are pro-vaccine for being unable to get a bigger audience? Well, what if, unfortunately, misinformation sells, right? What if misinformation sells? What if it's more about the fucking package of what it looks like, and it's more about the optics of it, and it's not about the fucking substance? I mean, we're fighting an uphill battle in an information war, and you're pretending like it's on us. It's our fault that the fucking fascists took over. Like, no, we did everything we could to try to fight the fascists, but they have a bigger fucking megaphone, right? Especially with all the media outlets now going further and further to the right and bending the knee to Trump. But like, yeah, every doctor in the world who's worth anything is saying being anti-vaccine is fucking bullshit and RFK is a fucking dipshit, but he's still the one with the power, right? So I don't know, this strikes me as very, like, going way too soft on Rogan and acting like it's still 2017 or 2018 and Rogan's up for grabs or some shit. He's not up for grabs, bro. He's not part of that right-wing pipeline. He's part of the right-wing propaganda outlet. That's what he is. And so don't fucking lie to yourself about that. Now let's get to the Saudi Arabia part, because somehow it manages to get potentially even worse. Here we go.
Of the recent, the business of comedians going to Riyadh and being paid a lot of money. What did you think of that?
I don't touch other people's money. And, it's hard, man. I want to fix my house. I want to operate with integrity, but I don't want to gatekeep. Like, I don't go to the tree of hilarity and get visited by the fathers of, and I think a lot of comics who came out and really shit on those guys, like, I know a couple of them, and I know them actually to be like garbage humans. So I would have preferred if they would have just come out though and said it's money, and not like, it's a way to start a conversation. Like, would you have started the conversation for $2,500? Well, then that's the difference. Look, I worked for Apple.
So him and Mark Maron have a history, and Maron was a real asshole to Jon Stewart. So from the personal perspective, I understand what he's saying. However, Jon is smart enough to be able to separate the person who's making the criticism from the criticism. And the fact of the matter is, Maron's criticism is 100% correct. And these people are selling out for Saudi blood money. That's what they're doing. And then they're lying about it and pretending like they're being virtuous, and I'm doing this for multicultural reasons, and I'm trying to spread the message of free speech, as I literally signed a contract to restrict my fucking free speech, right? And so No, John, here's the thing, man. It's over. It's done. We're done with the sellouts. In the year 2025, with everything fucking crumbling around us and our country going full fascist, we are completely and utterly done with the fucking sellouts, and then they have the nerve to lie to everybody and pretend like they're not selling out as they're clearly selling out. And so, who cares that it was fucking Mark Maron that made the correct criticism? It's fucking correct. And then here, who am I to judge? Somebody with a fucking functioning brain that understands that, yeah, there's a spectrum, right? And if you take money from Saudi Arabia or fucking Benjamin Netanyahu, that's on one end of the spectrum where it's clearly immoral. And you've sold your fucking soul to do it. And then he says, I used to work for Apple. Okay, that's not all the way in the total immoral side of the spectrum. I technically work for Google because YouTube is owned by Google. Does that mean I'm a fucking... I'm a rotten piece of shit for that? No. But don't do this whataboutism where you try to pretend like there isn't a spectrum and you try to pretend like it's the same thing to take money from Saudi Arabia or fucking Apple. It's not. We're talking about a government that literally has slaves. We're talking about a government that bone saws journalists. We're talking about a government that kills people for tweets they don't like. We're talking about a regime that did a genocide in Yemen. And you're pretending like... it's just a matter of disagreement, bro. I don't come after people for their money. Like, what the fuck is that? So if somebody in 1939 went to the fucking Nazi comedy festival and got paid 100,000 marks or whatever the fuck they were called from them, you'd be fine with that? I mean, it's just like, what is this? People fucking not allowing themselves to use their brains and like the justification and the rationalization, not only protecting Joe Rogan, but also now protecting the fucking Saudi sellout comedians. Like, no, fuck you. We're done with these hells. Here's the point, guys. If you sell out, what that tells me is you don't actually fucking believe in anything. You just make mouth noises when you talk. You just say things, but it's like the Charlie Brown. None of it means anything. Because you don't care. You don't actually believe in anything because you live your values. On this show, I've never had a conversation with an advertiser. I've never done an ad read. I've never talked to a billionaire because my words need to matter, right? They need to matter. You need to know I'm telling you what I actually think, not fucking this company or this billionaire or this PAC or this government is giving me a certain amount of money so I could spew their fucking propaganda. All of these people are a walking billboard. They're like fucking NASCAR with the cars. They should put their fucking sponsors all over their jackets when they go and do their fucking comedy sets or their shitty fucking podcasts. They're total sellouts, and they justify it and rationalize it and act like, meanwhile, a lot of these people, Bill Burr, he didn't need the fucking money. He didn't need the fucking money. He's one of the top comedians in the world, fucking worth millions, and you needed to go and get $1.6 million from a fucking war criminal? That's what you needed to do? And Jon Stewart's gonna go out here and fucking defend them? Fuck that. Fuck that. Look, I love Jon Stewart, but I'm gonna say it again. This is... And we thought he got over this. We thought he got past this. He always had that streak of enlightened centrism, the both sidesism. He did it with the rally to restore sanity back in the day, and everybody made fun of that, including me. But we all thought he sort of grew out of that a little bit and had a more biting criticism and became more left-wing. But this is that old enlightened centrist instinct coming back, and he's unwilling to call a spade a spade. He's unwilling to say Joe Rogan is a fucking MAGA hack, and he's a propagandist, and he makes people MAGA, and he makes people fucking... blame trans people and immigrants for their problems instead of the billionaires that he coddles on his show on a daily basis. He's refusing to say that. And he's refusing to say Saudi Arabia is one of the most atrocious regimes on the planet and they corrupted a bunch of comedians and bought their fucking souls. He's refusing to say that. So I'm just, like, I'm sorry. In the era of Trump, we need more moral clarity than ever. And this is the opposite. This is the like, oh, I have some comedian friends, so I'm going to go softer on them. And I've been on Rogan's show twice, so I'm going to go softer on them. I've been on Rogan's show 5 or 6 times. I still have to fucking tell you guys the truth.
Like, there's a lot of people who believe that Apple is exploitative in a way that's horrific. We all have our lines that we are willing to cross. Like, we get into a problem when we're unforgiving in any way. We offer no grace. And that doesn't mean...
That's such bullshit. If anything, we need to be more unforgiving. We've been fucking pushovers. We've been too fucking watered down and weaselly and back and forth, and... We need to draw more lines. We need more purity testing. This is the exact opposite of the truth.
I don't have lines that I draw that if people cross it, I won't do. But I do try to not be so rigid in the way that I think society has become. And if it goes back...
So people are so rigid when they say, stop taking money from that war criminal who chopped a journalist into bits and pieces.
You know where the lines are ahead of time?
No.
Because, as we started the conversation, you're facing a complicated situation at Paramount.
Sure.
And you know what you won't do, but if you see something else happening in the company, do you know where those lines are? Like with the news.
Yeah. They've already done things that I'm upset about. But then if I had integrity, maybe I would stand up and go, I'm out. Or maybe the integrity thing to do would be to stay in it and keep fighting. In the foxhole, like, I love a good argument. I love differing points of view in all facets of things, but I also love grace.
Anyway, there you have it. defending the Saudi sellout comedians, defending Joe Rogan. I'm sorry, you're just wrong, John. You're just wrong. And, you know, I have zero tolerance anymore for any sellouts of any degree whatsoever, and I have zero tolerance at this point for the 37% of people who still support MAGA as Trump is literally pillaging this country, looting this country. The billionaires are pillaging and looting this country. Most corrupt president we've ever seen, most warmongering president we've ever fucking seen, most horrifically atrocious president when it comes to his economic policies we've ever seen. So, yeah, it is the first time I've seen Jon Stewart in the modern era be truly, truly out of touch. Like, this is just truly out of touch to me. This is like commentary that's from 2018, and he's rehashing it in 2025. And what he doesn't realize is, look, we're just done. We're all so done. We're so done with the MAGA bullshit. We're so done with the corruption and the selling out. And we just want fucking unfiltered, unvarnished truth and standards and a return to sanity. And this was not that. All right, guys, that's the show. I love y'all very much. Thank you, as always, for listening. You guys know the drill. You, of course, can subscribe to the channel. That helps out big time. You can support the show on Patreon or tip with that thanks button on YouTube. Remember, this is real independent media. You can also support Crystal Kyle and Friends on Substack. That link is below. And go subscribe to Corn's World, where we do live Kyle and Corn episodes every Monday at 8:30. Come hang out with us. All right, guys. I'll see you later. Everybody have a great rest of your day. Peace. Hey, y'all. Do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop. And watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.